Okay, hello everyone. Thank you all for joining us. Tonight, I'd like to take a few minutes to watch together videos from the ex-governor of California. I call him Governor Arnold. He's making a comment. I'm sure many of you have watched this video already. It's going viral. And so he's, just in case those of you who were watching the news last week, President Trump instigated the insurrection. He got lots of his followers to take over Capitol Hill and interrupted the workings of the Congress for the House of Representatives as well as the Senate. So that's basically advocating anarchy. So a lot of people were very upset, both Republicans and Democrats and other parties as well. And so Governor Arnold is a Republican, and so he taped this video here, making a comment about what happened. I found it interesting. I thank you or someone for sharing it with me. I found it interesting because I'm impressed by his speech-making skills. You see that the photograph here, that you see that Arnold is very angry. Okay, he's very upset, and so are a lot of people. Very upset at Donald Trump for his bad boy behavior, very selfish behavior, and I find this video very effective. I tell you this because I want you to see, as you watch it, you see when you speak, when you preach, when you teach, most people would take it as a speech-making event rather than making it very personal. Okay, you notice it here. His tone and his message is very, very personal, and that's what makes his video very interesting. So my point is, in the future, if you want to speak Dharma to others, you want to make it more effective, it should be personal, very personal from your part. Okay? All right, let's get started.
As an immigrant to this country, I would like to say a few words to my fellow Americans and to our friends around the world about the events of recent days. Now, I grew up in Austria. I'm very aware of Kristallnacht, or the Night of Broken Glass. It was a night of rampage against the Jews carried out in 1938 by the Nazi equivalent of the Proud Boys. Wednesday was the day of broken glass right here in the United States. The broken glass was in the windows of the United States Capitol. But the mob did not just shatter the windows of the Capitol, they shattered the ideals we took for granted. They did not just break down the doors of the building that housed the American democracy, they trampled the very principles on which our country was founded. Now, I grew up in the ruins of...
Okay, so far, you see, he used the word we and our. It's not about him. It's not about them. It's not about he or she. It's we. Okay, so that's very effective. If he says it's for Republicans or Democrats alone, then there's separation. This is we together. Okay, so it's very good. And the other thing you notice is that what makes this country very, very good for us, for everyone, is that a country of immigrants. He's an immigrant. He came here with nothing, and he became a governor of the state of California. That's a very big achievement. That's a small king, if you will. Okay, so this country, we should be all grateful to this country, in a sense that it's a country of opportunities. And so it belongs to all of us, residents of this country, citizens of this country. Okay?
Of a country that suffered the loss of its democracy. I was born in 1947, 2 years after the Second World War. Growing up, I was surrounded by broken men drinking away their guilt over their participation.
Point number 2, we take it for granted in our country, United States of America, but we have one of the strongest democracies in the world. Okay, here in the U.S., only in the U.S. Okay, and that's something we should not take for granted. We should cherish and nurture. I am of the belief that we shouldn't try to export this to other countries. It's none of our business. For the other prior president, the young Bush, to go and say export our democracies to the Middle East and so on, it's nonsense. Each country should choose their own regime of politics or organization. We have no business bringing ours to others. But what we should have here is something wonderful that we are all benefiting from this most liberal form of democracy in the world. Agree or disagree? We should not take it for granted. If you really value this, you need to protect it. Okay? Same thing. You value what Mahayana has offered to you. It's a Mahayana of the universe. It's not just for America. It's not just for China. It's not just for Vietnam or Korea. It's for the entire Dharma realm. You really appreciate it. You need to protect it, cherish it, and strengthen it. Same message. All right? It's because we all benefit from it. We all benefit so much out of this democracy, and this beautiful, this wonderful democracy in this country. We should be grateful and do something to show our gratitude. Same thing. I personally am so grateful to Mahayana for turning my life around. What you see today is 180 degrees the opposite of what I was before I became a monk. That's why I don't have enough words to express my gratitude to my Chinese teacher for giving that to me. So that's why I started my career 15 years ago by sharing it with you, sharing what I know with you. And that's how I show my gratitude to my teacher. Okay? And I want to make sure I pass on what I know, what is given to me, to the next generation, the best way I can. That's how we pay back. Okay? And we need, I urge you to do that. You really got so much out of this country, of this system, all the benefits you gain in your life. You need to do something to pay back. It's just decency.
In the most evil regime in history. Not all of them were rabid anti-Semites or Nazis. Many just went along, step by step, down the road. They were the people next door. Now, I've never shared this so publicly because it is a painful memory. But my father would come home drunk, once or twice a week, and he would scream and hit us and scare my mother. I did not hold him totally responsible because our neighbor was doing the same thing to his family, and so was the next neighbor over. I heard it with my own ears and saw it with my own eyes. They were in physical pain from the shrapnel in their bodies and in emotional pain from what they saw or did. It all started with lies and lies and lies and intolerance. So being from Europe, I have seen firsthand how things can spin out of control. I know there is a fear in this country and all over the world that something like this could happen right here. Now, I do not believe it is, but I do believe that we must be aware of the dire consequences of selfishness and cynicism.
Selfishness and cynicism. This country, we are becoming more and more selfish. And that's a very, very bad sign. Please heed this message, okay? Your selfishness, however, no matter how well justified it is not good for the greater good of the country, of the world, okay? It starts with selfishness and cynicism, okay? You're too smart. You can weasel your way out of everything. And what happened is that I've been watching this. A smarter person manipulates things to mislead people who are not as smart as they are and take advantage of them to get what they want. There's no room for that. You should feel so disgusted with yourself when you're such a person. If you don't feel disgusted with yourself, there's something wrong with you. Something so wrong with you. Okay?
President Trump sought to overturn the results of an election, and of a fair election. He sought a coup by misleading people with lies. My father and our neighbors were misled also with lies, and I know where such lies lead. President Trump is a failed leader. He will go down in history as the worst president ever. The good thing is that
how angry he is. Huh? He's not the only one. So many people are so angry, so disgusted with this guy. Okay? He's probably worse than a Nazi.
Will be as irrelevant as an old tweet. But what are we to make of those elected officials who have enabled his lies and his treachery? I will remind them of what Teddy Roosevelt said. Patriotism means to stand by the country. It does not mean to stand by the president. Now, John F. Kennedy wrote a book called Profiles in Courage. A number of members of my own party, because of their own spinelessness, would never see their names in such a book, I guarantee you. They're complicit with those who carried the flag of self-righteous insurrection into the Capitol. But it did not work. Our democracy held firm. Within hours, the Senate and the House of Representatives were doing the people's business and certifying the election of President-elect Biden.
Okay, we have to interrupt this beautiful video for a news break. One Tsunim is leaving for the United States. Yay! Are you leaving soon or are you still there? Wait a minute. All right, have a good flight. We'll see you soon. See you tomorrow. Okay. All right. Asiana, right? Asiana? No? Okay, then the food will be okay. Asiana food is terrible. Okay. United Air, very good. American food is even worse. What a small world, huh? Right now in Korea, tomorrow in the United States, with bringing the Korean COVID with him.
Biden. What a great display of democracy. Now, I grew up Catholic. I went to church, to Catholic school. I learned the Bible and my catechism and all of this. And from those days, I remember a phrase that is relevant today: a servant's heart. It means serving something larger than yourself. See, what we need right now from our elected representatives.
I like this. I really like this. A servant's heart. Okay? We are serving something, aren't we? You're serving your family. You're serving your, I don't know, your wife, just for lack of examples. It's called French gallantry. Anyway, so let's not forget it, okay? We are all servants. We are serving something, okay? And let's never forget it. The meaning of life is not about serving yourself. You have to serve something bigger than yourself. That's what makes you a better person. If you only serve yourself, you're a very small person. You're meaningless. You're pitiful. You're unhappy.
This is a public servant's heart. We need public servants that serve something larger than their own power or their own party. We need public servants who will serve higher ideals, the ideals in which this country was founded, the ideals that other countries look up to. Now, over the past few days, friends from all over the world have been calling me distraught and worried about us as a nation. One woman was in tears about America, wonderful tears of idealism about what America should be. Those tears should remind us of what America means to the world. Now, I've told everyone who has called that as heartbreaking as all of this is, America will come back from these dark days and shine our lights once again. Now, you see this sword?
It's just a good old Arnold. He's always so commercial. He's promoting his reruns of Conan the Barbarian. But that's okay. That's the Arnold right there. He has what we call balance, ideals, and self-profits, personal profits. They have to be balanced, otherwise it doesn't last. So we have to understand that. Okay, look at his face and look how happy he looks now. But the message he made is that you have to serve ideals, you have to serve something greater than yourself. And what he's not saying is that because he's a politician, is that you need to rally people to serve with you. The reason that Donald got his way because he rallied all those people who don't know better. We can't just worry about ourselves and stay in our intellectual towers of Babels and expect and not care for others. Okay? Half of this country, half the people voted for Trump because they believe his lies. Whereas us intellectuals who know better, okay, didn't buy his words, but we didn't do much. We didn't do much to educate the rest of the country who need help, who are ignored. That has to change. We need to educate those people. We need to help those people. We need to care for those people.
This is the Conan sword. Now here's the thing about swords. The more you temper a sword, the stronger it becomes. The more you pound it with a hammer and then heat it in the fire and then thrust it into the cold water and then pound it again and plunge it into the fire and into the water, the more often you do that, the stronger it becomes. I'm not telling you all this because I want you to become an expert sword maker, but our democracy is like the steel of this sword. The more it is tempered, the stronger it becomes. Our democracy has been tempered by wars, injustices, and insurrections. I believe, as shaken as we are by the events of recent days, we will come out stronger because we now understand what can be lost. We need reforms, of course, so that this never ever happens again. We need to hold accountable the people that brought us to this unforgivable point. And we need to look past ourselves, our parties, and disagreements, and put our democracy first. And we need to heal together from the drama of what has just happened. We need to heal not as Republicans or as Democrats, but as Americans. Now, to begin this process, no matter what your political affiliation is, I ask you to join me in saying to President-elect Biden, President-elect Biden, we wish you great success as our president. If you succeed, our nation succeeds. We support you with all our hearts as you seek to bring us together. And to those who think they can overturn the United States Constitution, know this: you will never win. President-elect Biden, we stand with you today, tomorrow, and forever in defense of our democracy from those who would threaten it. May God bless all of you, and may God bless America.
And God bless you. Questions, comments? Okay. Yes. Green.
I have a lot of comments about this.
Sorry?
I have a lot of comments about this.
Please feel free. I mean, this is very emotional for a lot of people, so I know. And feel free to express yourself.
First, I want to make a comment about the character of Conan, and then second, I want to make a comment about the visual of Arnold Schwarzenegger's outfit and appearance.
Okay.
The first comment is Robert E. Howard was an author who wrote Pulp Fiction in the early 20th century. And Conan, the character, is based off the leathernecks in Texas oil fields during the Depression. And he was heavily influenced by Eastern thought, and so it was really profound to me yesterday to see one of the earliest Eastern fictional influences in America being channeled by the actor who played him. That just, I couldn't ignore how profound that was.
Oh, thank you for sharing that with us. Very good. Continue.
The second comment that I can't ignore, having worked on Capitol Hill, having worked in high security areas, is that you have a governor of the United States wearing an all-black uniform. On one shoulder is the California State Republic flag. On the other shoulder is the American flag, and the thing that's joining his arms is a sword. And that visual, regardless of his words, tells me, having worked in the visual of politics ad nauseum, that the message is prepare for what's coming. Mm. And when the FBI is making it known that there will be armed protests at 50 state capitals within the next 7 days, and the Department of Homeland Security's acting director resigns, this country is in for an S show. And thank you, Master, for letting me express that comment.
This country is what?
It's going to be a spaghetti show, Master.
Spaghetti show.
That's
like
my word I'll use.
Spaghetti Western?
Maybe.
It's the only spaghetti shows I know.
Use the S word of your choice, but it's going to be an S show.
I see. Spaghetti show. Very good. I hope you're wrong, but but thank you for sharing with us. Comments, questions. Q, go ahead. There's another symbol here. Looks like some sort of ninja symbol. Another Eastern cultural icon. Yes, go ahead, Q.
I don't think much of the interview or the idea Arnold said. He escaped from the communist. He come over here and just the freedom here and enjoy that. And then he doesn't know much. Or he maybe forget about the communist. And we are heading back to the communist. And it's his opinion, and typically the political, they see where the wind blows and then they go in that direction. That for me, is another opinion, nothing special about that.
Very good. So he says we're heading back to communism. So I'm sure a lot of people would have opinions on that. Yes, YouTube.
Trin says there are surveys reporting that 45% of Republicans support the Capitol Hill attack.
Oh, wow, that's scary. Anarchy. Very good. YouTube comment.
L to D says, somehow it is cause and effect, but since I'm not a Buddha, I can't see why.
Yes, of course, there's always cause and effect. Always blame on cause and effect. Okay? Yeah. Anyone else? It's not meant to be a political thing. Okay? Yes, Blue.
Mô Phật và Thầy. Thì mình đi tu thì mình đi Vạn Phật Thành thì sư phụ có nói một cái câu này à. Bởi vì bữa nay con nghe rồi đó, con sư phụ nói mình đi tu thì cũng là một cái ở trong chùa, một cái gia đình mình là có một cái chiến tranh nhỏ nhỏ. Rồi đó đi vô chùa thầy cũng có một cái chiến tranh, mà đi tới xã hội cũng có một cái chiến tranh. Thầy sư phụ bảo như vậy nè, nói mình đó cái gì đó mình lo công việc mình làm, mình đừng có lo công việc người ta, mình lo cái cửa của mình đừng có lo cái cửa nhà của người ta. Đó, là sư phụ nói như vậy. Đó, thì giống bây giờ mình đó, 3-4 người ngồi đi chọt qua chọt lại để có chiến tranh lớn, có cái chiến tranh ở trong cái gia đình. Rồi đó đi vô chùa cũng vậy nữa, vô chùa rồi thầy cô này kia rồi đó chọt qua chọt lại rồi đó là cũng có một cái chiến tranh. Rồi đó một cái đất nước cũng vậy nữa. Trong mình mấy bữa gài mình có nghe cái tin tức đó. Ông Donald Trump 17 triệu người là ủng hộ ổng. Thì ổng lấy 17 triệu người này đó là ổng tưởng là danh dự lớn quá. Ai nhà đâu 17 triệu này người này đó hại thì vậy ổng trở lại mà ổng không hay. Mô Phật có con ý kiến gì đó.
Okay.
Master, I have a chance to go to the temple, especially CCTV. I listened to Shifu, and I remember he said that there are wars everywhere. There will be wars in the family, small war, and then war in the temple and war in the country. So what we need to do is just to mind your own business and do not stick your nose into people's business. So it's, for example, if 3 or 4 people in the house, they fight, that's a small war. In the temple, the monk and nun fight, that is the war in the temple. And then for this country, I saw that 17 million people support President Trump, and then he thought that that is the great thing. But in the end, those 17 million people turn around and harm him.
Okay, the one thing that Mr. Trump does, and this is not political at all, and this came from the Buddhist wisdom. Okay, from the the times of the Buddha in the world, it is very clear that the kings cannot lie, can't even joke, cannot even tell jokes, because it could be misinterpreted. So kings are not supposed to lie. Mr. Trump is a habitual liar, if not, for lack of more accurate terms. Okay, I don't know. I don't care for politics. I look at people only, and if someone lies to me repeatedly, I tune out. It's a waste of my time. Okay, so if you start by lying to people, that's it. You're dead. Okay? No one will believe you anymore. You too.
L2D says, I was thinking this, that Americans have become weak and we need to be stronger. And even though things have been crazy, I personally think that they are good for us to get stronger.
Yeah, it's absolutely. Of course, there's always ups and downs in life, in any thing. You have the decline as well as the prosperity, and that's just the nature of things. So to me, it's a good thing that people should not take it negatively. The country will take care of itself. It's good enough, you'll survive. Nothing to worry about that. Okay, it's just that the real concern to me is that almost half the country can be so easily misled. It tells you that I don't think they realize that Trump. I think they know that Trump is lying, but they don't care, and that's what saddens me. I don't care. You can disagree and you can argue back and forth. It's irrelevant. But if you believe lies just because it suits your needs and your purposes, it's very worrisome. That's what I'm worried about. I don't care you Democrats or Republicans. And if you buy into lies because they serve your purposes, it's sad. Okay, because it benefits you, it's sad. Okay, you too.
Brady says, a house divided cannot stand. That's what Lincoln said.
Absolutely. But it's okay. Division's okay. Okay. It's okay to disagree. Okay. But in the end, we have to serve the greater good of the whole, not just ourselves. And that's what's wrong with the morals in this time. You can say that you are capitalist, you're communist, you're socialist, and so forth. I mean, in the end, we're in all the same country. Okay, we're all here. We benefited so much from this system. Okay, we should pay back. We should serve the greater good. Yes, you too.
L2D says, unfortunately, a lot of Americans from my generation take freedom for granted. They're always saying America is garbage and things like that. I see freedom that's here, and I think they are wrong.
Well, I'm an immigrant, so I still have a lot to learn about the American culture. I spent my life trying to make a living and trying to study and so forth. So I am not an expert on American culture, okay? But I find that just like my parents, the parents are not taught properly. That's why they didn't spend enough time talking to their children and teach them about right and wrong. It's the parents' fault. It's the parents' responsibility to talk to them. to the children. What I found in my generation as well as the young people generations, our parents simply ignored us. Our parents never really invested the proper amount of time to teach us about right and wrong. Okay, and that's not going to happen at the schools, because schools, the teachers are not graded, are not evaluated based on how well they teach right and wrong. Okay, so it's wrong. To me, education, that's why my master is very worried. He said we need to worry about education. Okay, we need to put more emphasis on educating our children. That's what he meant. Not turn them into robots, but talk to them about right and wrong. There's such a thing in life as right and wrong. And such a thing about being less selfish. I'm not asking you to be not selfish. Yes, you have your needs and your dreams and your ambitions. That's okay, that's healthy. But it should never be at the expense of the greater good. Okay? Anyone else? Yes, Green.
Master, it seems like there's always some kind of political issue. There's something next, this is next, and here's something next that's extreme. About 4 months ago, somebody was talking about Black Lives Matter or a serious political issue, and I said, why are you putting thoughts into my mind? Why are you coming at me with your thoughts? Because I don't want to have any thoughts. I want to have less thoughts. So where I'm coming from is that's why I like to do Chan meditation at least for a half hour for an hour a day, because it takes hard work. So peace takes more hard work than just to want to be at peace.
Absolutely. Yeah. Right. So the Chan is spiritual practice to rectify your mind. Okay, to calm your mind down. Okay. However, let me remind you, when we teach Chan, we don't, the way that we teach Chan doesn't really emphasize the fundamentals, because you follow the instructions, stay in this environment, you naturally will grow in that direction of righteousness, of propriety. Okay? It's the people who cannot sit. It's because they lack the fundamentals. What are the fundamentals? Fundamentals. Number one, don't harm others. My master said as don't kill. I explain to you, I teach you, I respect him, I honor my master, that's why I kept killing. But what I want you to understand is no harming. Not even at the killing point, don't harm others. If you're stronger, you don't harm others. I teach you, I train you to become stronger, and you keep on stronger, become stronger and stronger and stronger. And one of the responsibilities when you agree to receive the training is that you don't harm others. And if you use the strength you acquire from our training to harm others to get your way, okay, you lose it. Everything you earned, you got very quickly. I assure you of that. As long as I'm alive, any of you use a skill that through our system to harm others, you lose your skills. That's a contract I have with you. Don't harm others. That's fundamental. You don't harm, period. No matter how wrong they are, no matter how evil they are, you don't harm them. Fundamentals number two. You don't steal. You don't steal from others. I was never taught that. You know? I grew up learning that the rest of you, as long as I get away with it, it's okay. Yes? I stole from my companies, stole from the people around me. As long as I can get away with it, it's okay. No, it's not. Okay? And the one thing, in the interest of time, one thing also is that part of the fundamentals is that if you want to reach higher level of spiritual attainments, you cannot lie. If you want to be, have great success, it cannot be built on lies. You see? So that's why, this guy, I don't care whatever he is. It could be white, black, blue, red. It could be Catholic, could be Buddhist, whatever, it doesn't matter. If you lie to get what you want, I won't follow you. I will not support you. I will not help you. Okay? Those are the fundamentals. If you violate those fundamentals, it doesn't matter who you are. You could be a pope. You could be, the queen. But you violate those fundamentals, you're not a good person. You can't do much. Okay? And that's why I judge. I judge people by those fundamentals. You don't have those fundamentals personally, I don't see much hope for you. By the way, in our Weiyang lineage, we have a lot of tests. Okay? We put you through a lot of tests. I was about to say this when Sinim gets here, but I will tell you right now. When he comes here, I tell him this. We have a lot of tests. Okay? My master says, everything is a test to see what you're going to do. If you choose wrong, you have to start over again. What does he mean by choosing wrong? Anyone knows? You violate, your choices violate the fundamentals. That's choosing wrong. If you're faced with a test, in order to get what you want, you lie. You failed. You never succeed. I guarantee you. Never. You face the test and you choose to kill in order to get what you want, to harm in order to get what you want, you will fail. I guarantee you that. I will work against you if I have a chance. I can't stand by and watch you harm others. Can't stand by and watch you harm my people. That's not going to happen. You see? My master said that, but no one really explained it to me, what he meant by if you choose wrong. Let me spell it out for you. Choosing wrong is to violate the 6 principles. Doesn't matter who you are. You violate the 6 principles, you choose wrong. Everyone must face those choices. That's what the Wei-Yang tests are about. That's our secret. Don't tell anyone, okay? Yes, Joe Mountain.
Jewel Mountain asks, in the past, somebody asked, at her job, it has become a company custom and culture that they receive some money for business trips. If they don't spend it all, the people keep it. And it's been like that for a long time. But for the precept, no stealing, this person doesn't know what to do. If she returns the leftover money, her coworkers will be upset. Her job is non-commercial and very conservative. So if she returns the leftover business trip money, it will upset people, but if she keeps it, then it is stealing.
Well, each company is different. From my own interpretation, when I work out there, there's something called per diem. Either you get reimbursed for actual expenses, there's a limit to that, yes? So when you go on business trips, which is more like 120 miles or something like that, okay, away from your base, then the expenses incurred are reimbursable up to a limit. That's one option. The other option is you take a per diem. Okay, you can claim a per diem, then you don't submit the expenses. To me, either way is your choices. Okay, and if you choose either of the two, then you're not violating things. For example, you choose to take a per diem, which you should, because it seems like sounds like you have some money left over, meaning that the per diem, at least from the minimum from federal government, is how much nowadays? $60. My time used to be $45. Okay, long time ago. So clearly, the federal government is not keeping up with the times. $60 doesn't do much anymore. Anyway, so if you have some money left over, and meaning that they probably give you some allowances, and you can keep the difference up to the per diem. That's my attitude. You're not stealing. YouTube question.
Brady asks, but Master, what about indoctrinating people with lies, poisoning people's brains and inciting them to violence in the defense of lies?
That's evil. Okay? That is pure and simple evil. That's not acceptable. And we don't have to worry about it. These people, bad things will happen to them. I tell you this, people don't pay attention, but you don't know that the president is very, very unstable mentally. Okay, he's sick, he's bipolar, extreme bipolar. Remember the news says that he withdraws for days. Okay, doesn't talk to people, watches the news only. That's Mary Jo can correct me, but that's a symptom of depression. And number two, he's manic. He thinks he's God. He can do anything he wants. And guess what? His son-in-law, his favorite son-in-law, is also damn depressed. Look at his face. So these people who have money and have power, they cannot escape the human condition. Doesn't matter what they call themselves, rich, tycoon, president, whatever, son-in-law of the president, they're sick. Okay? No one can escape that reality. They're miserable. They don't know what to do with it. except spread the misery to everyone who comes into contact with them. That's how sad it is. I don't worry about politics, that's secondary. I worry about you as a person. Okay? Be a good person first, and you do whatever you wish, you want to believe. That's okay. But as long as you're a good person, there's hope for humanity. Jewel Mountain.
Previous question about the per diems. Jewel Mountain says her company rule says that she has to return unspent money, but nobody follows the rules. It's an unspoken thing that people use it since the salary at the job is low. So if she returns it, people won't be happy with her. And in Korean culture, it is do what everyone else does.
Yeah. And to me, it can be stretched a little bit, because now you have the problem of culture and social acceptance, things that are socially acceptable. Okay, there's also a rule of whatever is reasonable. Okay, so. It's a gray zone where if you're worried about it and you say, okay, my company requires me to return it, so I must return it. Fine, you can return it. If you don't return, you come to me and say, okay, I committed a lying, it's a stealing offense. I will forgive you. I will help you restore your purity. Okay. Yes, Green.
I have a comment from a manager's perspective on the per diem
Yes,
issue.
please.
Many times, management isn't empowered to say, we're giving you a benefit, but what they are empowered to do is to allocate a budget that they don't need back. And the thing to do is to not ask questions and to accept the benefit for what it is, because if you don't, you put your manager in the same conflict they're not trying to get you into.
Absolutely. Okay. There are certain, sometimes the rules are obsolete. They're not keeping up with the times. It's unenlightened mindset that created those rules. And sometimes it's better for the greater benefit of the company to ignore those rules. Okay? Because it's for everyone's good, not just for yourself. That's why I will allow that as an exception. I wouldn't worry. Okay? As a case, not just a management perspective, but also your colleagues. Okay? If you keep on, two of you go to the same place, and you went to the same, you submitted receipts to the same restaurants. Okay? And you're the only one who comes back and return the money, while the others didn't return the money. It's not good for your colleagues. Okay? Yes, Orange.
Yes, I remember maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, about that, maybe 2014 or 15. One of the summer Chan, you mentioned it because it's really clear to me. I remember the topics you bring up is about Chan on justice, Chan on right and wrong, and then somehow the impression of the conclusion I is really salient to me is do not really overly attach or obsessive with, that's my word, obsessive with the rightness or the wrongness of certain positions. And also the example of racism, is, I forget what you say about the racism on that, on prejudice about, but, and today, I mean, somehow if you can refresh us, I mean, maybe I can go back to the summer chant of a couple years ago, to pull that out of videos and then to, but if possible, if you can remind us what is the, from chant perspective, what is the position regarding morality and rightness and justice?
I fail to get the point.
What is justice? What is right? What is wrong? What is ethics?
What is right and wrong? From Chan perspective, right and wrong are those 6 principles. That's the fundamentals. Okay, that's design. It's not right and wrong. The right and wrong, number one. When you learn about right and wrong, you teach your children about right and wrong. Number one objective is to help them have the proper foundation so that they don't get in trouble later. Okay? That's avoiding trouble. Stay on the right side, you avoid trouble for yourself and for themselves and for you, the parents. Number one. Okay? There's right and wrong. And the kids need to learn about that. Just like you, when you first start practicing, you need to learn about right and wrong. That's Hinayana.
So I want to share.
Hinayana stresses right and wrong.
One of my patients, they taught their kids they're Caucasian. They taught their kids is black are wrong.
Well, I don't know about black. I don't know what he means by that.
The word, the morality is not universal. Some parents, they taught their kids, how we are going to teach everybody this morality is universal.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. There's something called you don't kill, you don't steal, you don't harm, you don't lie. That's universal. Everyone understands that. If you're talking about human behavior, human value system, okay? That's fundamental. That's the basics. Okay? That's what you first learn. That's what Chan is. First learn is that you need to learn about right and wrong. And then, because of that, it's easier for you to open your wisdom. If you stay on the right side, it's a lot easier for you to open your wisdom. If you stay on the wrong side, you can open your wisdom too, but it's much harder. You need some help to open your wisdom. You stay on the wrong side. Okay, you stay on the right side, you can open your wisdom by yourself. You don't need anyone. But if you stay on the wrong side, you will need help eventually. Okay? Yeah. So that's why you stay on the right side, you can figure things out by yourself eventually. When you err onto the wrong side, that's when you get confused. You cannot tell right from wrong anymore. You're confusing yourself. So much harder for you to have real wisdom. That's our purpose of doing this, is for you to acquire wisdom, your own wisdom. You don't need anyone else. You should know by yourself. We should know by ourselves. Okay? And once you have wisdom, then the ultimate wisdom, we're talking about intermediate level wisdom, will help you get there, right? The right side will help you get there a lot quicker. That's what my master did. He taught his disciples right. Choose right, and you'll be fine. You choose wrong, you regress. That's proven time and time again. Doesn't matter who you are. You choose wrong, you regress. It applies to everyone. Okay? You choose wrong, you violate the no harming, the no lying, you regress. No two ways about it. And then, so that's called wisdom. Because of that, you open your wisdom. You can detach. The first level of wisdom, you are able to detach. Below that, you cannot detach. I love my husband. I love my wife. I can't let go of her. Cannot live without her. That's lack of wisdom. Okay? We need wisdom. I love my wife, but it's okay if she leaves me.
Where's
She's
my
happier
wife?
somewhere
Can
else.
you say one more time?
If she finds happiness somewhere else, I love her enough to say, it's okay. Okay? That's wisdom. Because if you say, I love my wife and she's got to be with me, it's called selfish love. They call it love. Actually, you're loving yourself. You're not loving your wife. Let's face it. Yes? You say you love your wife, but actually, as soon as your wife leaves you, you don't love her anymore. So who are you really loving? You're loving yourself. That's what it means. Agree, disagree? That's called a spade a spade. He said, I love you so much, honey. I said, oh, by the way, I love you too. But by the way, I changed my mind. I love someone else. Can I go somewhere else? I said, oh, no, you can't leave me. I need you. No, you need yourself. You don't need me. Okay? Now, the first love of wisdom is that you can love, but you can let go. Okay? That's wisdom. And then ultimately, you got a much higher level of wisdom where you have what is called true wisdom. Okay? When you get there, you find out what it means. I'm not going to describe it to you because you might never make it. So what's the point of wasting your time? It's even more wonderful. So much more wonderful. Okay? God, now the more you ask, the more I talk. I don't know what else to tell the one Teksunim when he comes here tomorrow. Can we stop before I run out of things to talk about? YouTube comment, go ahead.
Vicky says, when I was young, I had a Catholic education. I learned right from wrong from them. My parents were good people, but they worked long hours. They had no time to teach me. I think that's part of the problem. Parents have no time to teach their kids.
Absolutely. We all are victims of the circumstances. Life is so stressful. It's more and more pressure every day. Not less pressure. It's more pressure. Okay? So we can't even handle it ourselves. How can we possibly think that we can handle our kids? I'm not saying that you can handle the kids. I'm more asking you to pay attention to make sure at least they hear from you what's right and wrong. Let them decide for themselves. Let's not make it the case where it happened to my generation and then the kids' generation nowadays as well, as we're too busy to make ends meet as parents. That we feel that we don't have time to talk to the kids about right and wrong. Okay? And they figure it out themselves. That's a crapshoot and playing Russian roulette for your kids' life. Okay? At least talk to them. Yes, Green.
Master, when my wife and I walked into temple earlier, I was surprised and really encouraged to see you playing Governor Schwarzenegger's video. Because...
Isn't that too communist?
Because of Governor Schwarzenegger's immigrant status and his ability to share his wisdom, having lived with the cause and effect of Nazism in Austria, I felt like I was his child in some small way, with a parent giving me the information and teaching me about what happens to countries that go through what our country is starting to go through now. And my comment is I'm just so happy to be a part of your international community where we have immigrants from Korea, from Vietnam, from China, from Mexico, from other South American and Central American countries, where I've met people from Europe. And I think right now what is the strength that Governor Schwarzenegger brings to the table that is the most important for me as someone who's born in this country to listen to and learn from their wisdom is their immigrant experience, something I don't have and I can't see without someone telling me. I want to say thank you for bringing it to Temple tonight.
You're welcome. I think you should thank the governor that he would, that 70-minute video there took a long time to produce. And so for him to do that is very generous. He's very busy making a lot of money. Okay? When he was a governor, he lost a lot of money. He missed on making a lot of money. So now he's catching up. So for him to do this, I mean, it's very, very generous. Okay? Look at that. So it's an act of giving. And that's what I hope that immigrants like him, like me, at some point become more grateful and say, I've got so much, I need to pay back. That's what he is doing. That's a good example. Never mind about his politics. Whoever he calls himself, I don't believe it. He's money and fame seeking hunk. But ultimately, whatever whatever he is, whatever he does, is still some decency in there that he felt compelled to say something, express his opinion. Okay. And of course, he's going to alienate a lot of Republican sponsors and donors and so forth. But so what? YouTube question.
Tiango asks, the main problem is that parents lack the prajna wisdom, therefore cannot properly guide their kids. It's not a matter of time usually, but how many parents, educators, or even scientists have the proper prajna wisdom?
Absolutely. Very good point. Absolutely. Thank you. Finally, she's not gossiping. Is it she or he? We don't know, huh?
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know. Remains undecided. Undetermined. Undecided is yes, Green.
Master, just seeing, being witnessing a lot of lying and things like that, whether it's in the workplace or in politics, have to do with being in a world that's impure, like the Saha world.
Yes. But the one thing that doesn't change, the right and wrong, the black and white. We all know what it is. At least we in that neighborhood, whether you're Catholic, you follow Catholic teaching or Buddhist teaching, it is something that's defined for right and wrong. And that's good enough. Your ancestors, your grandpas, your ancestors know what's right and wrong. Okay? So that's good enough. There's such a thing. Okay? So the point is well taken from the YouTube comment. Yes, the parents don't even know right and wrong themselves. Isn't it obvious? But that's no excuse for not spending time to talk to your children about right and wrong. You don't know? Look it up. Go learn. Go become, go take catechism. Go learn from the Mormons. Go learn from the Quran. I don't care. It is right and wrong. You got to learn somewhere. And keep learning. Don't stop. And you learn, and then you share it with your children. You say, this is what I know so far. Very humble. This is what I know. It's very important. I believe it's very important for you. Okay? And time will demonstrate that. Okay? That in time, when you become a parent yourself, you'll find out by then whether it really is right or wrong or not. But let me tell you, let me share this with you. This is what I know. That's a form of bonding right there, parents. Don't miss out on that. Okay? We're not perfect. We are a work in progress. We keep on progressing. Yes, we make mistakes. Yes, we choose wrong. But we learn from it. That's what makes life wonderful. That we can be wrong, but we recover. And we're honest about it. Yes, we screwed up. But no matter what, no matter how bad it is, we don't harm others. We don't steal. We don't lie to stuff our pockets. That's disgusting to me. That money there that you put in your pocket because you lie and you steal from others. You're poisoning your children with the food that you buy with that money. Guaranteed. And if you're his wife, run to me. As you can tell, I love songs as well, not just movies. Okay? We're not talking about politics level. We have been talking about very fundamental. Okay? Buddhism, Mahayana is about fundamentals. The Chinese say you cultivate the root, the core. You don't worry about the branches. Branches are politics. Okay? We worry about right and wrong. We worry about being a good person. We worry about being grateful. We worry about learning, enriching our mind with the right things. That's how you teach your children and your nieces and nephews. Okay? Comment, YouTube.
Kango says, if one can learn from a wrong or bad decision, it's already blessings and wisdom. Many can't.
Wow, Tingo is very good tonight. Okay, tell him to take it easy. Must be tiring. Absolutely. You learn from being wrong too. It makes you more humble, especially when you admit it. Yes, I'm wrong. You know, personally, I learn a lot more from being wrong than being right. Most of my learning, to share a personal experience with you, because I didn't have anyone to tell me what to do when I was practicing by myself. I learned by making mistakes. I experimented, try this, try this, try this, try that, try this and try that. And I got a bloody nose. I got, I failed so often, every day. That's not even funny. Like, take for example, sitting in full lotus. For 7 years, I swear to you, I didn't know what full lotus, what is the proper way to sit in full lotus. 7 years. Everyone tells me a different version. So what did I do? I tried everything. This is right. I got it. And then someone tells me, no, you do it wrong. I started over again. 6 months later, I got it. I got back to the same level as the prior way of doing it. Okay? So I regressed of 6 months. Okay? So I learned from making mistakes. Just like when I started teaching 15 years ago, my master simply said, you should go teach. I said, is there a manual? Is there an owner's manual somewhere? Like some guidelines somewhere? How come when you organize a chanti, you have 5 pages or 13 pages of instructions on what not to do in the chan hall? Do not carry an alarm thing that turn it on. Those electronic things. 25 years ago, it's not many people have that. Okay, do not wear this thing here. Okay, it's like they have like something like 10, 13 pages. And when my master told me you should teach, I said, go on. And that's it. So I spent, a few years experimenting on my early disciples, those guinea pigs. And later, I convinced myself. It's called R&D. It's not funny. You're not in a corporation, so you don't understand. R&D is what we spend a budget on every year. Every year, each company says, for the sake of the future, future growth, we have to allocate a budget for the R&D. So typically, it's 2%. The aggressive companies, like 10% of the budget is R&D. Okay? My budget, 99% R&D. But it's a very tiny budget, so 99% didn't really amount to beans either. Anyway, okay? We all learn from mistakes. That's necessary. In a Chan school, we call it, you fail, and you pick yourself up and keep going again. You don't quit. Yeah? Are we done? Okay, then. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. We see you next time.